Today, another Intellipak bites the dust. You can see here I fixed it. We've taken over control totally. So if I peel this off, it'll say external stop, and it'll be flashing an alarm because it's mad that I took all of its privileges away. I've used the fire alarm safety to kill power to the controller, so the whole unit will shut down in the case of a fire alarm. I've had to use these relays to incorporate the safeties. I had to have relays for the low pressure safety, and the high pressure safety actually supplies, the 120 volt runs through the high pressure safety before it comes to these compressors. So I didn't have to do anything with that. I just needed relays to bring them on. So my fan relay supplies 120 volts to both of my VFDs as a start-stop, and then the A terminal supplies the speed signal. So I think it's A1 is my speed signal, 0 to 10 volt. A2 is the economizer. I was able to find all the economizer wires. Actually, I think I got them from here to plug them in quickly, but they end up down here before running over to the economizer motors. So I've just labeled them for quick access. The economizer damper and exhaust damper need to actuate together. Supply fan and return fan need to ramp together. So my low pressure safety was here, down on the bottom there, and it comes from the compressor controller. So I've just run power through my low pressure safety, and when it comes back from the safety, it goes up and powers the coil of these two relays. I needed one that would break Y1 and one that would break Y2, so I just have two relays in parallel. The coils of the relays are in parallel. So my Y1 call runs through the normally open contact of the first relay, and my Y2 call runs through the normally open contact of the second relay. And after that, the calls go over and trigger compressor 1 and condenser fan 1, compressor 2 and condenser fan 2. The system seems to run really well. It seems to do just fine with one compressor and one condenser fan. I was a little bit worried that they had a fancier setup than that, but it's running really well. It's about 82 degrees today in Texas, so a mild day. So you just got to read your diagram. Everything is really well labeled. Economizer damper output, so you look at the RTM, that's kind of the main board for the unit. Economizer damper output, VFD for the supply fan output, VFD start stop, exhaust fan, that's the start stop. It's for the VFD. I had to kind of do some digging to find the exhaust fan VFD on a different diagram. Signal coming in, and they actually didn't tell me. Black is signal and brown was signal common, and I had to trace that back over to the VFD, or I had to go to the VFD and look to see which color was which. Here we have the compressor control board. It's got the low pressure cutout, so that's where I just cut these wires here, 459A and 460A. I just cut them, and I ran 24 volts through, and when it came back, it goes to the relays. The high pressure safety is here, and you can see 120 comes in, goes through a fuse, goes through the high pressure safety, goes through these two contacts that don't exist on this unit. It's optional, and then when the 120 gets here, goes in and waits to be called through this relay, normally open contact for compressor 1A, goes out on W50. So all I did was I took a 120 volt power source from here, so that it's after the safety, and it also goes down and does the condenser fans, the other compressor and the two condenser fans. So there's one high pressure safety, one low pressure safety, Made it pretty easy. So W51 comes from my compressor B relay. 78A, condenser fan 1A. 79A, condenser fan 1B. All the contactors there. So I just took 120 volt from coming from the high pressure safety, jumped it to all of the switching side, you know, the load side of the relay. So they all share 120 volt because that's what they do on the diagram. And then I put the outputs, you know, compressor, contactor, condenser contactor, so on and so forth. I opted to jump the economizer damper and exhaust damper together here. I just jumped them, the signals, I just jumped them there. It was easy to get it there. And then the signals for the VFDs are both here. Exhaust fan VFD, and then this would be the supply fan VFD. So I jumped the signals and commons together there. The reason we had to do all of this is because this unit kept giving us alarms for return air pressure, sensor. It would get angry about stuff for no good reason. You know, you got these transducers over here that monitor the supply air pressure and the return air pressure, and it tries to do smart things with the exhaust, and it tries to do smart things with the return air fan. So all these transducers right here, but they just, it's a common problem with these units, and Train doesn't seem to be able to fix it. They've been out several times, really expensive service calls, and they just can't give you a good answer. So we ripped out all their stuff, and now anybody with a set of gauges can work on this unit. So the static pressure, I just teed in, not tee, but I tapped in, I took it off of that transducer and used their run, because I traced it all the way down to the supply duct, so I knew it was a good run, and used their tubing. So I ran probably 20 feet, if that, 15-20 feet of tubing connected in. So my Z8, my Pelican Z8 is controlling the fan speed based on static pressure, and it's working great. I'm running on half capacity, and it's putting out 56 degree air.